Mount Panorama. It's home to some of Australia's greatest endurance races, the Bathurst 1000 and the Bathurst 12 Hour. But today, the HQs make it their own. A dedicated group of Australian race fans have decided to race a family sedan here at Mount Panorama, and to add more into the mix, the Queenslanders, the Geminis, have made their way down to do battle at Australia's toughest race circuit. 12 months ago, Brett Osborne debuted here at Mount Panorama, but this year he's back bigger and stronger than ever before.
We're sort of a team of five, I suppose you'd say, boys from the bush racing, and we like to support all of our cars, just to keep everyone on the track, and everyone seems to enjoy it. So.
While HQ racing is affordable, it also helps if you're mechanically minded.
Well, I'm a mechanic by trade, so a lot of the work on our cars, or my car in particular, I do myself. The other guys are mechanics as well, so they do all their own work. So it's definitely handy in that way. But I think it's one of the least expensive forms of motorsport. Definitely categories where you spend a lot more. So HQs are a very cost-effective way of doing it. I think that's one of the best things about the HQ is you can play with them pretty easily. A lot of the other categories, you more or less can, like, if you haven't got a laptop, you can't tune an engine, whereas we can still got carburetors and just points distributors. We can change things, and it's all just a lot easier for us and simple way of doing it. The top 15 result would be nice. I think we can do that. We can get the car run a little bit better, make a few changes just before this race, and get out there and be trying my best, that's for sure.
The cars are out on the track for this 1 hour enduro, the second race of the weekend. Can't believe, Kevin, there are still this many HQs in Australia.
Oh, look, and this is going to be a cracker because the grid's really mixed up here because of the early ending to race one. Some cars have done the pit stop, some hadn't. So here we go. Have a look at the grid for race two.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating. The Gemini is mixed up with the HQs, and of course our pole sitter not taking part in this race due to the rollover in the first race of the weekend. But it certainly leaves the door open for whoever is prepared to go hard. Unusual to see that sort of biff and barge from the HQs too. Their parts are becoming pretty difficult to get, and drivers, including this man Warren Truan, are able to race very competitively without ploughing into the side of each other, usually.
Yeah, look, it's getting more and more professional. Warren Truan's actually done several John Bowe courses and has enlisted the help of Chris Pither's engineer this year in the HQ world. And here we go, coming up to turn one, it's Cabbage, who looks like he's going to lead the way.
Some hard charges further back in the field too. Not everybody getting off the line cleanly. Some of the guys dropping the clutches found that there wasn't much clutch underneath them and had to sort of jiggle it a little bit. Look at the battle for the race lead on this opening lap. Warren Truan, what a charge from him. Missed the start on race one, and in only the couple of laps that we had made his way up to 21st. That's a fair steer.
Yeah, Warren's doing a terrific job, but it's John Acosta.
Oh, somebody off in the background and straight into the wall. The green car has gone ploughing into the wall and looked like he was given a little bit of a help.
I think it was 3 or 4 wide coming up the mountain, and there was obviously nowhere to go, so somebody made a hole. But unfortunate for the black HQ of Green and Novak. There is fire there, actually. We can see some flames going on there in the car.
Well, the fire crew are on the scene very quickly, so they'll be able to put it out. The unfortunate thing is that that fire suppressant really does upset a car. It takes plenty to clean it out. Did he do it on his own? Can you tell from that angle, Kevin?
Well, that's really hard to tell. We can't see from here at all. I don't know where the flamage is. That must have been the fuel tank, maybe. But, oh, there you go. It's just a case of 4 into 1 doesn't mix. Everyone trying to race up the hill. Gemini against the HQ, different speeds, and unfortunately just a racing incident.
An HQ sandwich that left a very bitter taste in their mouth. 2 drivers per car here is the format. Well, that's the idea behind it. And as you say, John Bowe stepping into an HQ. Is there any car that he won't race?
He not only has stepped in and been very, very quick. So great to have John Bowe out there, and of course Paul Morris out there as well. So a couple of the V8 guys. There's
another guy, Paul Morris. You can't keep him out of a race. I think those 2 guys have done more racing since they've retired than what they were doing full-time drivers. The 59 car with the big dive up the inside on this first lap. Finesse, but Bonwood car has it moved up? No, sitting back there in third.
Big mover is Jamie Finesse. He's a young gun from Queensland, and Gary Bonwick, of course, also his uncle, the most decorated man in HQ racing. It's a great combination in that car. The lead car at the moment is John Acosta. John Augusta was the unlucky man that went from first to last and back to first last year and ended up with a DNF. So he's got the bit between his teeth this year.
Well, Augusta's got a bit of breathing space at the moment as this battle for second continues on. All he's got to hope for is that there's no call for a safety car and he loses that margin. Look at the Geminis around the outside. The HQ's up against the Geminis. Interesting mix because the HQ's obviously quicker in a straight line, but across the top of the mountain, gee, you'd want to be in a Gemini, wouldn't you?
And did you see the red car of Gilton then as he turned the right-hander? He was right out to the fence and he's still struggling to get back in the line. So Dave Redgrave there too in the silver car with the orange stripes. He's been showing a bit of form this weekend.
On board the Sunny Oaks proprietary limited car of Warren Truan as he tries to carve his way through the field and doing it quite skillfully. Given a little bit of racing room, which is great to see. I always like drivers that can do that because it creates overtaking, and hey, if you've got the speed, you're going to get back around them.
Oh, look, HQs nowadays have become a lot more professional than the early days. The guys certainly appreciate the cars a lot more. They keep them clean, and have a look at that outside over the top of the mountain, side by side. That takes a couple of nice, clean drivers.
And some serious intestinal fortitude. What is it about HQ racing that keeps so many drivers coming back?
Oh, look, Grant, it's great value for money. I mean, have a look at the way these things are lurching around. They're jumping all over the racetrack. You're still getting up to 220 k an hour down Conrod Straight on a radial tyre, and a good tyre at that.
And is it just the fact that, like, you're coming through, you know, like even down here onto Conrod Straight, just putting the power down, the rear tyres will scream before they let go, unlike the modern race car, which has got grip, oh, all of a sudden nothing?
Yeah, the tyres scream the whole way around the mountain, I think, Greg.
What about brakes at Mount Panorama? They're coming down Conrod at the moment. They're going to dive into the chase, doing well over 100 kilometres an hour, and jump on the brakes. Well, really weren't designed to try and arrest these very heavy cars under these sort of conditions.
Oh, look, you don't underestimate them. They're actually going to go around the chase here 200 k's an hour, side by side. They'll go 2-3 cars wide, and the old HQ was a pretty evenly balanced car. You just watch them as they pull up under brakes here, and they're not scared to have a dive.
They certainly are. Look at that, absolute bumper to bumper there as they come through the left-handed kink to make their way down to the final turn, and another great overtaking opportunity. The great thing is because these cars are so big, they are a reasonably heavy car, but each car out there is absolutely identical with regard to horsepower. It really does come down to driver ability and how you can line the person up in front of you.
Yeah, look, we're back inside with Warren Truan. This guy's done several of the John Bowe driving courses this year. He's been really keen to get ahead, and I'm not sure if that's John Bowe. It is. It's John Bowe he's going past. So this will be a case, do as I say or do as I do.
Well, Bowe's having a go around the outside, wouldn't give it up. Did they? Oh, that was very close. I suppose when you've raced against people, albeit at their driver training centres, you get an idea of what they're capable of doing. And of course, let's be honest, with John Bowe's experience, the last thing you'd want to do is plough into the side of him because the guilt factor would just destroy you.
Oh, I reckon both of them would have had a giant smile on their faces as they're coming up the hill waving to each other there. But it looks like Truan who's got the horsepower as they pull up the hill. But this gaggle in front of him, what a fantastic mixed breed. We've got young Tassari there from Victoria. You've got Greg Keane, who's multiple New South Wales champion. And here we go, battle for the lead now. It is young Jamie Finesse who's looking around the old wily Johnny Augusta.
Oh, look, they're still side by side. You don't see this very often here at Mount Panorama. Across the top of the hill, just the slightest of touches. No harm, no foul. And they are still battling out this race lead. How good is this? This is why we love HQ racing. The 59 car goes forward. The Finesse Bonwick machine has the race lead at the moment, but you get the feeling that the blue car sitting right behind with the 41 on the side that was our race leader has got plenty of momentum.
Oh, what great driving there by young Jamie Finesse. He's as keen as anything. Look at his car, it looks $1 million. It's brand new after a recent rebuild. He's certainly come to Bathurst with a big grin on his face, and he arrived ready to win. So just keep an eye on this battle, because Johnny Augusta's been around, I reckon, 20-25 years nowadays. He's an ex-Thunderdome champion in the HQ, so he's not going to let it go easy.
Well, we've got a car off to the side of the track. It looks like it's on the exit of turn 1 there, and it's on the apex, so hopefully that will be out of harm's way. Now, the Bonwick Finesse car has been able to give itself just a little bit of breathing space. Augusta sitting back there in second spot. He looked pretty competitive across the top of the mountain, but has just given a car length or so up for the race lead. Now, he's elected to drive this race on his own.
Yeah, there's actually 2 races within the race. You have a single driver and a dual driver. Not too sure if there's any sort of advantage.
But here we go. Agosta around the outside into the chase. You want to talk about brave under brakes. You mentioned it on the previous lap. There is the demonstration. Wow. Gets it done. How good was that?
He actually backed it into the chase then when he made that outside move on young Jamie. So this is great racing.
I think I can. Gee, I hope I can. That was as late as you like. Oh, big brake lock up. He's locked it up again. He's gone straight ahead. Off into the sand trap. Tags the wall with the smallest of tags. John Agosta just got it wrong under brakes. You saw he did everything right. Got off the brake pedal, tried to reapply it, locked up again, then again, and unfortunately he was a passenger in that one.
Well, lucky these Kinder tyres that these guys race on are a great tyre, because I think a lot of them would have given up the ghost there, but you can see he's had to modulate that brake pedal, and he's done everything he can to make the corner, and he's actually done a fantastic job in the end to keep the car going and keep the race flowing.
And it wasn't 3, it was 4 goes. The Lovering machine comes into the pits for their pit stop. All the pit stops are done after all of this racing, all of the action we've seen. It's now a sprint race to the checkered flag.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, it's far from over. Warren Truan, who had a ripper pit stop, is absolutely setting the times alive at the end of this session now. Johnny Agosta's in the lead, and Truan is pulling him in very, very quick. So keep an eye on that. The Bomwick and Finesse car is still there, but they still seem to be struggling a little bit on pace. But have a look at this battle behind for 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th.
A great little dice, isn't it? And the Gemini is still heavily involved in all of the action out there. I tell you what, there's been a bit of debate on whether you want to race HQs alongside the Geminis. Personally, it's added an enormous amount to the field and given Maloney something to think about throughout this race, if nothing else.
That Gemini gave Shani plenty of room there as he shot down the inside. So, and again, it's another lock up there for Maloney, and the Gemini's sideways trying to find a way past. It's
great racing, you've got to say that. It's been extraordinary racing.
Look, I'll tell you what, the driving talent between these blokes, so have a look at the camaraderie. They've given each other plenty of room. They've gone side by side. They've really made it exciting to watch.
Door left open for the Gemini. The 70 car just wouldn't turn in. It wouldn't get the power down. It wouldn't slow down. In a straight line, not too bad though.
Have a look at this. We're going to head up the mountain again. It's the Gemini under brakes. Will the power of the HQ be able to pull him back in? Dave Redgrave, he's got the flames on the rear quarter panels this weekend. He is on fire.
He'll have the flames in his eyes after that too. He just couldn't slow down the car at all. There's John D'Agosta coming through the final turn, just running a little bit wide too as he pushes very, very hard.
Yeah, that tyre would be certainly hurting on his front right, Johnny, but did you see in the background then, Truan is starting to get very, very close to our race leader.
So we're in for a great couple of final laps here at Mount Panorama. Maloney's right in the middle of another Gemini sandwich. They just won't go away. They're like flies.
Right through the field.
Look at this. The 197 car attacking on the rise up the hill.
Yeah, he's chasing the beautiful green Osborne car, of course, that we're in car with now. What we can't see is that he's got the Gemini pushing him nearly the whole way up the mountain.
Osborne Transport involved with 5 other cars here this weekend, as is their commitment. This is his 2nd year. This was his debut track last year, believe it or not, for Brett.
And, wow. And the guy behind him too, young Andrew Magilton. He's a newcomer coming out of Victoria, so this is probably only his first year at Bathurst, I would imagine, so he's doing a ripper job as well.
But Kevin, how do you debut at Mount Panorama?
Well, why not?
Start at the top of the stack and work your way down. But Brett's loved it. He's fallen in love with HQ racing, and good on him too.
Yeah, look, Brett's part of the boys from the Bush race team. There's a lot of them come out of Newcastle up in New South Wales, and what a ripper bunch of blokes. They enjoy their time on the track and off the track, the boys from the Bush.
The Milkman has all the work to do at the moment. He's got a Gemini tapping on the rear boot of his car at the moment. And that doesn't happen too often to him, especially when he's doing the milk run. Oh, that's the wall, Brett. Just be wary of that one.
There's a good chance to have a look at the speed the old HQ's getting up to there with that digital speedo. Look at that, 150 and climbing as they come down Comrade Straight. They do actually hit the 200k an hour mark as they hit the chase, and they keep that foot buried.
That is screaming for an HQ, let's be honest.
What about
Maloney?
He's coming back again, Tony. So that's the two Geminis he's put behind him, and he's back after Redgrove trying to get his 4th place back.
Oh, no! I'm too busy laughing to call it on. Look, I've got to say, while we're having a bit of fun here, because Maloney's just been in the walls from the get-go of this race, you've got to think at the end of it, he's going to get out of this car and go, wow, that was a lot of fun. Even though I had all these Geminis to compete with and may not have got the result that I felt that I deserved, as he slides in a 4-wheel drift, as we go on board with Brett Osborne through that same turn, as he's wrangled up by a Gemini.
Look, I actually know Tony Maloney personally, and he's a very, very funny guy and a happy guy at the best of times. So I'd imagine the smile he's going to have on his face at the end of this race will be rather huge.
Look at this. Look at this.
And sideways on the exit.
And Hinton's just gone, keep doing that because I've got all the grip I need.
So here's the Bonwick car. He's still out there, but he has slowed. He's not showing that early pace that was pushing the leaders. So I think he might be in a bit of a conservation mode at the moment, our superstar from Queensland.
Well, laps are starting to tick down. As Bobby McGee told us a little bit earlier on, there was a very important prize up for grabs here this weekend, and that was a test drive in a V8 Ute. Kevin, you've got the results.
I do. It is actually Gary Bonwick's co-driver and owner of the car, Jamie Finesse, the young gun from Queensland, and he is a gun, let me tell you. Great driver and showed some fantastic form earlier. But look out, what have we got here? We've got lots of smoke coming out the back of the Gemini.
Yeah, the Hansford Barry car looks a bit like a gun at the moment that's been fired. There is smoke coming out the back and has been given the meatball flag. The officials have said, we've got enough oil out there on Mount Panorama. You need to come into the pits. But I've got to tell you, that has been progressively getting worse. I don't think he's going to make it back down the mountain.
Yeah, he's locking up under his own brakes here, and this is 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th spot, all in that one group.
Oh, Hinton went to go past the car that he thinks probably should be pulling into pit lane. Oh, John. Oh, right behind him. Oh, wow, that is a massive hit. The 71 car tags the wall. Warren Truan, that we've been singing the praises of, who's been driving absolutely brilliantly, just locks it up, loses control and tags the elbow.
Oh, that's going in hard, because Truan has been coming at the leader at great rapid knots. He's been the fastest car on the track for the last 4 laps. He's obviously been driving 11 tenths and just pushed that little bit too hard.
Just run out of grip on the run down the hill, and it's cost him big time.
And this is Gary Bonwick, who he's in conservation mode. This will be for 2nd place now. So Gary's going to be doing everything he can to hang on to it, but laps are running down, and that Gemini is now coming fast.
That's the Smallwood Rangley Espresso to Go Mobile Cafe that's right behind him at the moment. The Gemini closes up under brakes, down through the final turn onto the start finish straight to complete another lap. He's monstering the back of him at the moment, but the HQ up in front of him, just as you mentioned, doesn't look to have the pace that it did earlier on in the race.
No, he seems to be driving the car very, very, very tidy. I don't think he's wasting anything that's in that car at the moment. I just don't think the car's got a great deal to offer at the moment.
Well, he's under an attack at the moment. Now, the Gemini may not be, well, I was about to say may not be able to do anything on the run up the hill, but he's going to give it a try. The Smallwood Rangley car goes to the inside. It's got the inside line, and that is a telling story. Obviously, the Bonwick car is down on horsepower because that Gemini loomed up so quickly. Now, can he hold it down? Bonwick has got just his nose in front, and down into turn 2, up through the cutting, is going to maintain that 2nd spot.
Yeah, this is going to go right down the wire. Oh, and we've got another crash. It's the Healy car.
Ooh, and that has gone in relatively hard too. A bit of damage to the front. That's down in the elbow. You can see the Truan car off to the right-hand side, and he's gone in out of sympathy. Now the Gemini in the battle for 2nd goes around the outside. They've been doing it all day across the top of the mountain. Bonwick's going, you don't do this.
If you want to be outside anyone over the top of the mountain, it'll be next to Gary Bonwick. He's one of the best and cleanest drivers out there. And have a look at this for great stuff between the two blokes.
Well, here they come down towards the S's and into the Dipper, and the Gemini has been able to work its way up to 2nd spot. The Espresso to Go Mobile Cafe has put its himself not only on the podium but in a very respectable position.
Yeah, it's not over yet, of course. You've got to come down Conrod Straight, and we'll see if that HQ's got much left, but he really looks like he's struggling coming down the mountain there at the moment, Grant.
Now the question is, can the Smallwood Rangley car get up onto the tail of John Agosta, who we have seen been overtaken so far today in this race a couple of times by a Gemini, but he's been able to fight his way back, but the gap looks insurmountable at the moment, you'd have to say.
Yeah, Johnny really wanted to win this weekend, and I think he's a long way out in front now and doing a great job. I'd be watching closely behind Bonwick because the 4th and 5th HQs there are coming.
Yeah, the 70 car of David Redgrove that we've been talking about throughout this race. He's been involved in plenty of it and does have the opportunity to finish up on the podium, but needs to put the hammer down on Maloney, is sitting right behind. He's not done with yet either.
No, have a look at this. The 3 HQs are now going to end up nose to tail within half a lap for that last spot on the podium. It's who's Bonwick, who has had the early pace and looks like he's struggling. Maloney, well, what can you say about Tony? He's been in amongst the wars. He's been on the track, off the track. He's locked every single wheel on the car, but all of a sudden he's a chance for a podium.
Now the Geminis are doing 4-wheel slides into that final turn, so they're not without their own tyre issues as well.
Oh, look, this is great stuff. And here comes our leader, Johnny Agosta.
Yeah, this is the final lap too, so he's got one more tour to go. Little bit of smoke starting to appear behind the 41 car. He'll be listening and hearing every nut and bolt move, shake, squeak, make noise, even though they're actually not. He'll be hearing the entire lot at the moment with about 3/4 of a lap left to go. There is second spot and the battle for third. It's going to come right down to the wire.
Oh, Dave Redgrove, he is all over the back of Gary Bonwick now. This will be Dave's best results ever, I think, in his couple of years of HQ racing. He's got right onto the back of Bonwick now, but Gary Bonwick's been around a long time. I don't think he's going to make it too easy for Dave to get past.
Now, he'd probably have a good chance down Conrod Straight into the chase, but will he wait that long's the question mark. You can see he's hunting all over the back of that car at the moment of Bonwick and trying to find a way past as our race leader comes down through the S's for the final time. He'll be just using a little bit of caution. He's got a long gap between he and the Smallwood Rangley car sitting back there in second. The Gemini up on the podium in a respectable spot. Bro, gets a little bit loose even through the elbow, and he was only being tentative there.
Oh, look, it's great testament. He's one of the nicest guys you'll see down in the pits, Johnny Agosta. This is proof that nice guys don't always come last. He's been pushing pretty hard the last couple of years at Bathurst and had some absolute horrible bad luck, so this is just fantastic to watch.
Well, the specialised road maintenance machine makes its way down Conrod Straight for the final time. A 1-hour enduro here in the HQs that have really made their name at Mount Panorama over the years. We always see great racing action, and this weekend, well, we've seen some extraordinary stuff, let's be honest. John Agosta makes his way through that section of the track. Just one more turn to negotiate, one more braking area, one more position to get it wrong, and the checkered flag will be just around this corner. He's deserving of the victory. He started off in the race lead, went back to third, locks up a brake. Don't do that. The checkered flag comes out. He takes it and puts out a big sigh of relief, you'd have to say.
Yeah, big wave, two-handed wave from Johnny. He's a happy man. Have a look at that. The Johnny Agosta from Western Victoria. He's had a few cracks at it, and finally he's conquered the mountain.
Well, he's taken out the Kenda Tyres Challenge here at Mount Panorama. I've got to take my lid off to all the HQs and the Gemini drivers as well for an extraordinary display. Here is second spot, Smallwood and Rangley in the Espresso to Go Mobile Cafe. They finish in second at Gemini in second spot. I'll say it again, it's unbelievable.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, third. Wow, look at that. David Redgrove there by the narrowest of margins over Bonwick.
Yeah, and Dave gives a big thumbs up to Gary Bonwick. He's had the ball, and I reckon Tony Maloney will be struggling to get the helmet off in that fifth position as well, because, man, I don't think I've ever seen so many guys have so much fun on a racetrack.
There are the results on screen. John Agosta for the Specialised Road Maintenance HQ takes out the win. The Gemini, Smallwood and Rangley in second spot, and David Redgrove, after 1 hour, the narrowest of margins, finishes in third.
Oh, yeah, look, I mean, after the first race and all the mishaps and carnage, and to actually get that second one started, I thought we were going to go again, and then it settled down. I made a couple of blues early on, but I had a good pit stop, and just try to keep level and make some time across the top. It was great.
Oh, somebody off in the background and straight into the wall. Across the top of the hill, just the slightest of touches. Around the outside, into the chase. You want to talk about brave under brakes. He's locked it up again. He's gone straight ahead. Off into the sand trap. Tags the wall on the outside of the top of the hill. Gets it a little bit loose too. Oh, is he? No. A big brake lock-up for the 70 car. And that allows Maloney to get a run on him. And the Gemini wants a piece of the action. Oh, right behind him. Oh, wow, that is a massive hit. Went back to third, locks up a brake. Don't do that. The checkered flag comes out. He takes it and puts down a big sigh of relief, you'd have to say. It's not only one of the most iconic racetracks in Australia, it's known throughout the world. And when the Donut King Improved Production Challenge were asked to come and race here for the 5th time in succession, they jumped at the challenge with a 40-strong competitive field. As a rule, the improved production cars race within their own state as part of their own series, and this is the only time in the year they come to match their wares against the entire nation. Gary Manell joining us up here in commentary. Gary, this is a really exciting category and a race weekend this weekend that sees guys doing battle against each other. There's 2 Tasmanians on the front row in Ray Hislop and Lee Forrest. Those 2 are going to be extremely competitive here, but there is the top 10 starting grid. This should be a really interesting race.
Yeah, it should be a fantastic race, and like you say, with Ray Hislop out there.
Oh, a car stalled on the grid. One of the BMWs not getting off the line so far. Everybody able to get past. Ryan Marcello able to dive to the right, not collect up another driver. Be interesting to see if that car does keep going, but there is the one car out in front. Ray Hislop leads them up the mountain for the first time.
Yeah, I think that was the BMW of Brian Anderson who stalled on the grid, so it'll be interesting to see whether he gets going again. He did some good qualifying times leading up to this race.
Look at the lead that Hislop's already able to pull out. He has just bolted away on this opening couple of turns. He is driving a very, very big fire-breathing dragon.
Yeah, absolutely. Defending champion from last year, and look, he's already extending his lead. Lee Forrest right behind him. Looks like Warren Millett's up there as well, so they're really starting to spread out a bit already.
Now, if you haven't seen the improved production cars before in the past, you're in for an absolute treat because these drivers race extremely hard. That BMW did get going, which was a good side. They race extremely hard, but they don't have the massive budgets of, say, V8 supercar teams, so they tend to be a little bit kinder when it comes to putting people into concrete walls or leaning against each other, Gaz.
Yeah, that's right. Improved production is based in every state. Every state has a club, and they run just like you say on weekends and have a bit of fun, but this really is the highlight of their year, and coming to Bathurst to race and support the 12 hours has been fantastic.
So just to explain that a little bit more, the New South Wales has their own series, Victoria has their own series, right across the country it's exactly like that. Then they all come together for this Donut King Improved Production Challenge this weekend. I suppose in some terms, this is their Indianapolis 500 or their Daytona.
Yeah, it is. That's right. It certainly is. And they really look forward to it each year. And the guys at the front, they are serious about it, and they take it very seriously, their motorsport. And look, they're out there having a great time. Good on them.
Their 5th year of racing here at Mount Panorama as part of the 12-hour weekend. 37 cars qualified. Gives you an idea of how very popular this race is. So we watch the 7 car making its way down through the chase.
Yeah,
that's Justin Wade that we heard from in our feature interview, a very likeable pilot.
Yeah, fantastic guy, Justin. Been around improved production for a long time, and good peddler. That car's about 12 months old. He's came and did a round at Eastern Creek with the V8 supports earlier on in the middle of last year, and out there again having a good go at Bathurst. Yeah.
Looks like he's just having a little bit of trouble turning that car in. Hasn't picked up the last 2 apexes, but I did chat to him before they went out there for the first race, and he said the car is performing and handling exceptionally well around this track.
Yeah, look, the tyre that they're using this year is the Yokohama, the AO50, and we've only been on that tyre for the last 12 months, and a lot of guys still getting their head around the setup of the car, and obviously not getting a chance to test at Bathurst during the course of the year. You've got to be get out of the blocks pretty early when you come here.
Just have a listen to that. Andrew Cherney making his way up the mountain, the car screaming its head off. He was overtaken and went down one spot, but wow, what a great sound from the improved production cars.
Yeah, and Andrew there, he's in an under 2 litre car, and we see another under 2 litre car there, a Scott Hunter in the little early model Corolla. Yeah, those under 2 litre cars punching way above their weight line.
Baghdadi with a problem from 17th to 33rd, and a little bit of smoke coming from back of a few of these cars. Here's what happened. Just talk us through how you see it, Gary.
Yeah, it looks like Baghdadi's lost an oil line or something there. He had problems in the qualifying session, the practice session, and obviously they haven't been able to get on top of that problem just yet.
On board with David Worrell making his way down into the final turn. Turns in, runs a little bit wide. That's why he's got a couple of cars coming up the inside, and he's got problems, missed a gear.
Yeah, I'd say he's got a major problem there, David. He's actually slowing right up. He's going to pull over. That's unfortunate for David.
Well, the Commodore pulls off to the side of the track. The 51 machine takes no further part. Disappointing to come all the way to Mount Panorama and have your race finish that way.
Yeah, it does. And here we see Lee Forrest from Tasmania. This is a turbocharged early model Toyota Celica, and he comes out every year and races really, really hard. And see the gap back to third place. Looks like Bob Brewer in the Commodore in third. Then we've got Warren Millett, Ryan Michello, and then a Magna. Yes, you heard, folks. You heard right, folks. That's a Mitsubishi Magna out there. John Woodward from South Australia. Fantastic to see him.
Lee Forrest is just running a little bit wide there. Brewer. He got it wrong coming through the chase. You could see the car understeered straight off the track. Whether he left his turn in or was just a little bit tight, well, he'll be able to decide that for himself. But either way, he's lost a couple of spots as a result. Oh, and one off into the sand trap.
That looks like Ian Statham from South Australia in another Magna. That's not a very good place to park. So we see the safety car come out, and they'll here we go.
Stantham, here's the replay. Oh, wow, how lucky was he?
Straight through. Obviously didn't even get to take the corner, went straight across. We've seen that so many times with other categories here. The V8 supercars, number of cars have gone straight through the chase and end up in the sand trap.
Oh, it looked like a total brake failure, and that's certainly enough to get your heart in your mouth. But they've done so much work here at Mount Panorama to make it a nice, safe track, and as a result, the car arrested in the sand trap. On board with Ray Hislop, who had a pretty big lead. It's all been reduced thanks to the safety car, but listen to his motor.
That's pure grunt, isn't it? Eh? That's what you like to hear. And Ray, he's done a lot of work. Campaigner for a number of years in improved production, had an early EL Falcon, and now he's got this BF, and he's absolutely on fire today.
Look at the car sliding through the cutting there. Absolutely unbelievable. The back of the car stepping out gives you an idea of how much horsepower he has. Now, Forrest, he's a really interesting character. You're talking about his car and how pumped up it is and how it's got so much horsepower. Such a diminutive young man, you know, like he's just such a quiet-spoken individual.
He'll love you for saying young. But look, the battle for third here is actually quite interesting. We've got two New South Wales cars, Warren Millett and Anthony Loscialpo, both in VYs or VZ Commodores, and they are absolutely going at it hammer and tong. We just saw in the background there, but look at this little Celica across the top of the mount, absolutely on the ragged edge.
Isn't he throwing it around too? He's not scared to have a go as we go back on board with Andrew Cheney. Further back in the field, you can see plenty of work for him to do. Three cars up in front, and they all seem to be running around at the same sort of pace.
Yeah, that's the David Walden's brand new RX-8 there right in front of him, and it's throwing a nice little flame on the after throttle there. But Andrew Cherney, as I said it before, punching way above his weight here. This is an under 2 litre car, so it's only a 2 litre engine in there, and he normally runs in the State Series as an under 2 litre car and doing a fantastic job.
And he's pretty psyched too. He wants to have a go at those guys in front. You can see from the body language, he just wants to get on with it. And certainly, as you see so far in the results or the standings, he's got the capability to do so.
Yeah, as we see Lee come into the chase here, really deep under the brakes, and there we go, a couple more cars. There's Andrew Cherney, the little blue car, and the other second under 2 litre car of Scott Hunter. Look at that right behind him. So there's a real battle on here for the under 2 litre title.
Well, that's why Cherney was keen to get on with it, because he's got somebody knocking on his rear wing at the moment and needs to get past and try and maintain this position. But the 21 car, tell you what, it's not bad in a straight line itself, is it?
Absolutely. Scott Hunter, another guy who's been at Mount Panorama on a number of occasions and had all sorts of troubles. We see Ryan Marcello overshoot the last corner coming onto the pit straight.
Yeah, just run out of brakes by the looks of things. Gets back on. He'll lose a couple of spots, but he'll be pretty pumped up to try and get back up with this pack.
Now look at this. We've seen Scott Hunter. He's actually overtaken the RX-8 going up Mountain Straight now. We're going to see exactly what's happening, but here we go. Here's the replay for Ryan missing the corner.
Yeah, and a wise choice too. He could see that he was carrying too much speed, and rather than push a bad situation, drop a couple of spots, live to play another day, and collect some valuable challenge points at the end of this race.
Yeah, that's right. See, if he pushed too hard on the brake pedal there, all he's going to do is just lock his tyres, flat spot, and probably throw away four tyres that'll be rather worn out.
And points too, which is the important thing for this weekend. Great little dice going on here.
Yeah, this is, as I said, David Walden in the RX-8. Oh, got squeezed out very close. Looks like Marty Miller in his solar blasting VY HSV. But look at this, Scott Hunter once again up the inside.
Great little overtaking manoeuvre, or attempt at same, down in the final turn. Marty Miller's been around for a while. He's raced in a variety of different categories. Had a launch at the Utes a few years ago. Budgetary problems kept him out of that, but he still manages to pop his head up with some fairly decent machinery and go out there and challenge for positions out on the track, as the 78 car has come off in the chase as well. Looks like he's had an outbraking issue.
Yeah, that's Bill Shoots. Normally that car is raced by his son Ben Shoots from Victoria, but Ben's given the keys over to his old man and let him have a bit of fun. And
may take him back at the end of this. The safety car pulls in. We're about to go racing again. It's Hislop leading Forrest. Those two, 1 and 2. They've been dominant so far in this first race of the weekend. Hislop just puts the power down and disappears. Lee Forrest is not able to do so. He's got a little bit of a challenge behind him. Just one more lap to go. The battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th still on in earnest.
And there's the BMW Brian Anderson who's stalled.
What a great recovery, Gary.
Absolutely fantastic. Brian's been around for a long time. That's a fantastic little BMW coupe there. And yeah, he's really making his way back up through the pack.
And it's a big pat on the back for his driving style too. Even though there was a problem at the start, he didn't get carried away, didn't get himself into situations where he was being tagged by other drivers or pushing a bad situation. He's been calculative, he's overtaken cars as the opportunities arisen, kept the car nice and clean, and as a result of that's going to pick up some valuable points.
Yeah, absolutely. He's probably up in about the top dozen cars already, so that's a great recovery from stalling on the grid and possibly having someone crash into the back of him.
Across the top of the mountain for the final time, Lee Forrest is able to give himself a little bit of a breathing space over the nice little battle going on behind. Warren Millett right in the guts of this one, and with plenty to prove.
Yeah, Warren's been around for a long time. He's actually been racing in the Ute series, but still loves to come and race with improved production. And look at that, the BMW, Justin Wade across the top of the mountain. Here we go, down over Skyline, through the S's here. And here we go, look at this old V8 Commodore giving the Commodore a run for his money.
Warren Millett would race a sewing machine if you gave him the opportunity and put wheels on it. He loves to go racing.
He certainly does. He's a supporter of a number of events around the country and does a great job in the Utes and improved production as well.
Justin Wade on the final time, coming onto Conrod Straights. Cars in front of him, cars behind him. This is the beauty of improved production car racing. They are so tight, so competitive, except for this guy out in front who has just bolted away so far this weekend. A great job by Ray Hislop down through the chase for the final time. Forrest has kept him pretty honest throughout this race, but hasn't really had the horsepower to match it.
No, look, Ray's got a fantastic engine there, but look at this, the RX-8 Dave Warden up the inside. These two is having a right old battle here, but take it out for Ray Hislop. put your hands together. That's fantastic.
Great result, a win in race 1 for the Tasmanian, and in fact it'll be Tasmanians 1 and 2. We'll never hear the end of this. Forrest comes across the line. He takes that second spot in the Toyota Celica, and third it was Warren Millett. He was able to hang off some very tough challenges from behind. What a great way to finish this first race of the weekend. But Ray Hislop takes it out with that Falcon of his. A fantastic performance by him. Lee Forrest second, Warren Millett in third spot, all the way down to 10th, and it was Scott Hunter that finished in 10th spot. That was a big race. This thing's got some mean grunt.
Yeah, it certainly has. I mean, if ever there's a circuit that suits this car, it's certainly Mount Panorama.
Did you expect to have such a massive advantage over the field?
No, we know that this car is good, and we've looked at times from years gone past. So I knew it would be fast. You know, just hoping some of the other guys have developed over the off-season, and they're getting closer and closer to me.
It was good. Like, obviously the safety car bunched us up, and the last safety car, Ray's obviously setting the pace off the line. He deliberately held everyone up, I think, to get the jump, which wasn't real good, because the guys behind me were swamping this sort of thing. But no, it was all good. Yeah, it's pretty hot work.
Well, the Tasmanians seem to be the people to beat. We'll find out how they go in race 2 after this break. We are getting set for the second race of the weekend in the Donut King Improved Production Challenge here at Mount Panorama. After the first race, some incredible results. Schiappo making his way from the back of the field. We had a Magna in the top 10. We'll talk about a lot of those drivers in a few moments' time, but it's Ray Hislop, the man to beat. Can anyone out there do it, Gary?
Yeah, look, Ray, he struggled one time when he was here, had all sorts of problems. Consistency, what's about. It's a long race, anything can happen.
Well, let's see what happens. This is the second race of the weekend. Forrest gets a great run, another stalled car on the grid. They dive left and right. Marcello once again has to take evasive action and gets tagged going up into turn 1. The door closed, he saw a gap, tried to go through it and was ankle tapped.
Yeah, I think that was Scott Hunter in the little Corolla. He just started to move over and probably didn't realise he was there. And as we see, Reece Marcello, it's his brother.
Well, you can't tag your brother. There's no excuse. It makes a very difficult Christmas lunch.
Yeah, a great brother rivalry there, but unfortunately looks like Reece had maybe a mechanical problem on the start, so that's unfortunate for him.
Warren Millett goes up into third as they move Reece's car off the track. Unfortunately, he's not going to get going. You can see he's getting out and doing the right thing, pushing the car out of the way so that it's not going to make an impact on this race. Ray Hislop leads. Now let's talk about some of the big performers out of the first race, because it was stunning. Schiappo, what did he do out there?
Yeah, he actually started from almost the rear of the grid. He had a problem in qualifying, didn't have any luck there. Looks like we've got the yellow flag. Safety car because of the Reece incident down on the pit straight. Yeah, as I was saying, Anthony Schiappo had all sorts of problems in the qualifying, came from rear field in race 1, finished 4th, as we see the action replay.
Oh, gee, there were a couple of them that had issues getting off the line, weren't there? And I think Reece can feel him a little bit lucky that he wasn't taken out there, as we see his brother come screaming past, diving left, right and centre, and this is where he tried to get up the inside. A lot of congestion further back in the field, though, as they all tried to get past him.
Oh, and look at that Mercedes of Lloyd there, nearly took out the back of the Commodore.
Rodney Lloyd has come within millimetres of tagging Reece there. Race gets back underway. Hislop leads, no change in the top 3. One of the other drivers we need to talk about after the running of race 1 was John Woodbury. Didn't he have a great first go?
Absolutely. The Magna from South Australia is absolutely on fire, and it just goes to show improved production. You can run just about anything, including a Magna.
Justin Wade on board the BMW, getting a bit racy as they make their way back up the mountain here after the restart. And even though improved production cars run a reasonably low sort of a budget, the idea being keep it cheap and everybody can go racing, as Wade tries to have a look around the outside, there's some great support down in the paddock area. I know Bilstein have been with you guys this weekend. Paul Joyner and the team from Bilstein are fanatical about their motorsport. They love coming and they love being involved in the more technical side of racing.
Absolutely. Paul and the boys from Sydney Shocks do a fantastic job supporting us on the track each time we go racing, and they've been a major supporter of improved production up at Bathurst for the last 2 or 3 years. So it's great to have them there again this weekend.
Andrew Cherney over the top of the mountain now as he tries to work his way forward. The 44 car doing it very, very tough behind the wheel across the top of the mountain. You can see how much work he's going through. Quick correction there, bit of oversteer as the power comes down. A lot of these cars have got a lot more power compared to the amount of rubber that they have at the rear wheels.
Yeah, that's right. We have a controlled tyre, as I said earlier, and as we see, Brian Anderson, he's the guy who actually stalled in the first race, and yeah, having a right old battle there with Ryan Machello.
No disrespect, of course, to the Yokohama control tyre. They're a very, very good tyre, but they're designed to make these cars go out there and race and work for their results.
Absolutely, yeah. It's an R-spec tyre, so it's a road registerable tyre, but obviously more suitable for racing. And Yokohama have been a great supporter of improved production for a number of years. As we see inside with Warren Millett here coming down the straight, absolutely flat chat. That's well in excess of 260 kilometres an hour into the chase there.
Then braking back to about 70 kilometres per hour. How hard do the Yokohamas and the brakes work for that matter? That R-spec tyre, I've actually been involved in road testing those tyres. They're a really, really good little road going package too.
Absolutely, and absolutely spot on for improved production and racing. We just love them. We think that's great, and it's great to see them all out there supporting improved production.
How good we going with Lee Forrest? Was he happy that I called him young?
Yeah, he was actually. Yeah. I actually told him, and he just had a bit of a chuckle. And here, back inside with Ryan Machello there. He's doing a great job after not a good start.
Yeah, just had a bit of an issue down in the final turn. It looked like a car was diving down the inside of him and just pushed him a little bit wide. As a result, lost 2 spots, but we've seen how competitive he is, and we know that he will start working his way back forward as soon as he gets a bit of breathing space there.
Yeah, hold on, we've got an accident up the top of the mountain. Looks like someone's had a bit of a moment, and...
is that Brian Burke?
It looks like it is, yeah, in the BMW.
Oh, that's disappointing. He's right at the top of Skyline here, so that'll bring out the safety car.
Absolutely, another safety car. This will pack the field up as we once again pick up the restart again.
Here comes Hislop, down into the final turn, goes back to green racing conditions, flags waving, he puts the gas down and says goodbye. One more lap to go for this man. Can he maintain this dominance here at Mount Panorama this weekend? You'd have to say yes.
Yeah, look at the battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th. It's on for everyone there. Anything could happen in this last lap as we see Warren Millett absolutely hanging the tail out there, heading up Mountain Straight.
Well, he started in 3rd spot, Warren, and I don't think he's the sort of guy that likes going backwards through the field. So with 1 lap to go, the team have obviously said to him, get a move on if you want to make anything of this, and he's come out there with a bit of red mist for this final lap.
Yeah, that's John Woodbury right behind him, giving a run up the hill there. But look at this. Ray Hislop, Lee Forrest absolutely pulling away from it. Anthony Losciapo, absolutely amazing drive from him to qualify almost at the rear of the field.
Yeah, on board with Warren Millett at the moment. Losciapo, interesting competitor, raced in the V8 touring cars and has elected to play here in improved production cars, and why not? He's been very, very competitive so far.
Absolutely, and it's the same with Warren Millett here as we see the Magna go up the inside of Warren. Whoops, and another car. So look, Warren could have a problem
here. He's got a problem. He's not carrying full speed across the top of the mountain. You can see another car go screaming past. Disappointment there for Warren because he's such a competitor.
Yeah, absolute. It's a real shame, but he'll manage to get it down the other side of the mountain and across the line to finish. But look at this BMW M3, Justin Wade, absolutely on fire, chasing a Magna.
In 4th. In 4th. Punters, let's say it again. There's a Magna in fourth. Incredible. This is what's so great about improved production cars, and these guys have had a fantastic time here this weekend, coming up with just shy of 40 cars at Mount Panorama. Their 5th year that they've been here at the 12-hour. As we said at the start of the program, almost like their Daytona or their version of the Bathurst 1000. It's the time when all the states get together, or we've sought the men from the boys, and so far it's been a Tasmanian whitewash.
Yeah, and we've got to thank Donut King for coming on board this year. It's been fantastic to have their support. They've been out handing out their famous donuts all around, and some very attractive girls doing the job and doing it well.
Well, the Magna of John Woodbury starting to pull away from Wade down Conrod Straight. He locks up a break, runs a little bit wide, but manages to gather it all up with some good driving. That's the man who's taken the victory. Hislop has taken a win in both races here this weekend. Lee Forrest in second, Los Galpo in third, and have a look at under 2 litre production cars.
Yeah, absolutely. Andrew Cherney and Scott Hunter locked on point.
Well, I know it wasn't the sort of race you were looking for, but you take a victory at Mount Panorama.
Absolutely. Every time we can get to race here, and you know, to finish first is a fantastic feeling, but it's just awesome. Every lap you do is a bonus.
Talk us through your race. What was it like out there?
Oh, very hot. Keeping an eye on the rear vision mirrors pretty well. The only time I saw Ray pretty well was when the safety cars came out, but the last lap I had him inside a bit. I did the quickest lap I've ever done here, so I'm pretty rapid.
And you'd have to be pretty happy too with your beast. I mean, it's a car that you've been campaigning for a while now.
Yeah, since '96. Yeah, it's done a fair few race miles, yeah.
We started off pretty bad this weekend. We had a problem with the gearbox. We worked on the car, got that sorted. Started in 25th position, and yeah, first race we finished in 4th, I think. And yeah, that last race was good, other than safety cars. It was a bit sad, but still enjoyed it.
I mean, it's indicative of, this whole weekend's been indicative of how the car's going. Finally sorted out the issues with it, and it's going forward in the positive direction.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you know, as I said, we had a mechanical problem, which was sorted. Hard work by the boys on the Friday, I think it was, Thursday night, sorry. But yeah, this morning's race, the car wasn't quite there as far as times were handling, so we made some changes, and as soon as we went out there, the car felt on song, you know, went up a mountain, it was just great. So yeah, really felt confident. Other than the heat, it was a great day.
A great team and very competitive this weekend, working their way from the back of the field to the front. Hope you've enjoyed the 2 races here at Mount Panorama for the Donut King Improved Production Challenge of 2013.